This is Brother Black Light, aka Omar Kareem Nasser Muhammad, aka Professor Soul School Phenomenal. I got many AKAs, but this day on the radio, that day on the radio, my radio days, back in the 90s, I was Brother Omar Flavor Supreme, Kareem Nasser Muhammad. I had also ran into a brother. I used to run with this brother, Nana Kufi Archery, and he gave me a name, Nana Quasi Archery. So you see, I got many names, I got many hats. But let's get back into this, my radio program, 88.1 FM WHBR, TV33, Highland Park, Michigan, on my radio show Mind, Body, and Soul, talking to my one of my squad leaders, Brother Blackhawk.
And when we spent the money, it was lawful money. So it took us out of the contract of using the debt money. Then when we sold that to ourselves, turned the title and deed back to the state. The state would then cancel out your title and deed and say you no longer had a title and deed. You have to start all over again and sign up for another one. But see, this is where your opening comes in. Then you get your proper paperwork, a lot of your paperwork, have it notarized and a few other things, and taken to an old place that we don't never use anymore, down in the city county building. You know, where you register titles and deeds and stuff like that, and where you record at. Well, you know, people don't know anything. They've lost the idea of how you record things. So you take and record this title and deed, then it becomes lawful. Then you would go to a legal news, take your name, put it in the legal news, say that I purchased this vehicle for a lot of your money or something like that in the legal news, and then you are able to have proof that you were taking care of, that you bought your vehicle with a legal conveyance rather than by state title and deed that the state would use. And well, when we heard some people when they heard me talking about that, a lot of people didn't understand what had happened to the money. And in the early 1930s, when the stock market came, Britain, through the same means of the old banks that were here since the British and the colonial fighters were fighting the blue and the red coats many years ago in the United States, involved with the so-called Boston Tea Party, but found out that it wasn't tea, that it was heroin. And they were trying to impose drugs and IRS in those early years in order to control the United States, because the king didn't like the idea that the people who he dumped out of the prisons and everything, and the murderers, the whores, the people who would travel over here eventually with Christopher Colon or that we call Christopher Columbus, came here and established all these illegal banks and everything else. But getting back to what I was talking about, it wasn't until about the early 1930s, as I mentioned last week about what do they call this? The Depression. When the Depression came in, we didn't. The people became so poor that some people understand they were being fed flour and cake, and the United States government had allowed through treason to allow for the United States to allow for the federal United States to take out a debt of loans from the International Monetary Fund. We're saying, well, who is the International Monetary Fund? Well, International Monetary Fund was a central bank that was part of Britain, or should I say the European Union. And this bank right here has been involved in the takeover of hundreds of countries all over the world by going into their country. They found out they were poor, or they find a way to make the country poor. Then they would take and say, well, we'll give you a loan to try to get your infrastructure going. knowing that they didn't have the proper things in order to get the infrastructure. So then, when they took that money in their loan and they signed that contract, they lost a whole lot of their sovereignty, and they didn't know what in the world had happened. And according to what I heard one of the old bankers say, and I heard and they were bragging about it, they claimed that give me any country, no matter what kind of laws you have, or army, and if I control all the banks and the money, I can soon take over the entire country. And they did this to many countries, all through Africa, all through the Middle East, all through different places. We wondered, well, how did they manage to do this? Just the same simple thing, by a contract. If we were to read the Quran, I think in the area they call El Imran, and in there it tells you about contracts. And it's very important to know how to sign a contract, because you can sign a contract with God, and you can mess around and sign a contract with the devil and not know what you're doing. And once you sign that contract, you're obligated to fill that contract out. Brother Omar? And then when you're tied up in contracts, you didn't know how dangerous it was with what you did, especially when the time when you were born, and your mothers didn't know that when these people ran up to your mother and said, would you like to get your child a social security number? And you didn't know that these benefits, privileges, and that you were taking, you had no idea that when you were signed up for that, even though you didn't sign up with your own signature, that they took away a lot of your what's the term they call? They took away your sovereignty. You were automatically a sovereign person when you were born under God. No contracts, nothing attached to you. But when someone signed you up for a benefit or a privilege or some package claiming that this is what it was, and it was an unrevealed contract, the same thing as what they did to the birth certificates. The birth certificate was mainly in the early 1900s. It was, before that time, was called a birth record. The churches, people who were there, midwives, were allowed to sign up this form, have it notarized to say that you officially were born at a certain time of the day. But the state did something rather nasty a little bit down the line. They took those birth records and turned them into birth certificates. And without the people knowing, they claimed that everywhere you go, you had to have a birth certificate. You have to have a social security number. But there are certain things, we call it now, these same type of marking numbers, the mark of the beast. It's very important that if we really read the scriptures, whether we're Muslims, Christians, or whether we're Jews or whatever we are, that when we sign any contracts dealing with the mark of the beast, and you have actually didn't know it, on those contracts or those marks of the beast controlled you. And to this day, our people are having trouble trying to figure out, well, who is this beast? Who is this man? Yeah, who is the beast? You know, what does he look like? Is he a spook? Is he a man that runs around with horns that comes out of his head? Does he look like a man? You know, what is it? What is going on? And all the time we didn't know that they had planned centuries ahead of time that no matter how we came out of slavery, they would make sure they were going to especially keep the black man and black woman enslaved. But in the same process, they not only enslaved us back again, they enslaved themselves on them same contracts. Brother Omar, I'm going to back it down. I'm going to leave a little bit of room. We have the Brother Supreme Minister here. And Assalamu alaikum, Brother Omar, and allow for me to pass this freedom message to our people. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. You know, now, that's when Master Farad came, that was the reason, you know, for him coming and raising up among us the messenger, Elijah Muhammad, and then leaving in our midst the Supreme Minister, so we can get knowledge of ourselves, the devil. You know, you got to recognize the fact that when Elijah Muhammad was talking about how to eat to live, you never did hear too much about nutrition. You know, now you got health food stores all over the place. You got how to eat to live, but they're not going to give the credit to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the one that pulled a coattail to this. But that's in fact where it came from, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I even heard, one time I was listening to the radio and I heard a devil talking about he was a martial artist. He even eats 1 time a day. And he don't eat no pork. I think he said he was a vegetarian. I'm not for sure. But anyway, he only eats 1 time a day. Now, where did he hear that from? We didn't hear that before the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad came on the scene.
Teach, Brother Omar.
So, what we're going to do today, I have, there's been a lot of talk about the messenger's last audio or last Savior's Day address, 1974. And I'm going to play a portion of it. And I want to ask his brother, the Supreme Minister, to analyze this, because I got a feeling that we've been interpreting some of what he was saying wrong, So we want the Supreme Minister to break it down for us. So I'm going to play about maybe 5 or 10 minutes of it. I'm not starting at the beginning because a lot of it's introduction. So I'm going to start somewhere almost at the beginning, almost probably not in the middle, but almost in the beginning. So just hold on while I get everything right.
I'm going to stop it right here because time is winding down, and we're going to come back, with the next video of Supreme Minister John Muhammad breaking down the last Savior's Day message of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's Savior's Day message. He's going to run it, breaking down to us. And we probably, do this in segments, So thank you for giving me your attention and stay with me. This is Black Light out.